Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Bitter Rivals podcast. This is episode 67. We are about just under a week into the NHL season here. Leafs have played 3 games. Habs have played
3 games.
3 games as well. And a little bit of a disappointing opening night in Montreal.
For you.
But
for you.
Yeah.
Phenomenal opening night for me.
You know what, though? Congratulations, you already have about 10% of your total wins for the season, so
pretty much, yeah.
Good for you. That wasn't the Habs winning, that was the Leafs losing, as per usual. That's what they do.
Debatable.
That's exactly what it was. But anyway, lots to talk about, obviously. From that game alone, there's a lot to talk about. It was kind of a hectic ending to that game, to be completely honest with you. And then a lot to talk about outside of that game as well. Specifically in Toronto. But anyway, so let's start off there. So we'll go Montreal-Toronto first. It was 3-2 final or 4-3 final?
4-3.
4-3 final. Matt Murray probably didn't, I'm just gonna say it. He did not play good enough. He just didn't play good enough at all. The second Caulfield goal, he almost fanned on it. And that's you gotta make that stop. So that's one. And then I know it was a very, very nice shot that Anderson made to win the game, but you gotta be at least in position to make the save in order to have a chance.
What is Jake Muzzin doing on that play, though?
Okay. Yes, right now I'm talking about Murray, but yes, that was also that entire shift was one of the worst displays of defense that I've ever seen from a pairing in my life between him and Hull. That was abysmal. I'm not gonna lie, I was upset. After that. First
25 seconds. 25 seconds left in a tie game. You get the puck in your defensive zone.
An absolute signed, sealed, delivered pepperoni, extra cheese, light sauce pizza. Right up the gut. Right up the gut. One of the most blatant, horrible giveaways I have ever seen in my life.
There's no excuse for that at all.
No, there really isn't. And
if he throws that off the glass, and someone swats it down and makes a play, fair enough, right? They can make something out of it, but you can't just give it to Nick Suzuki at the top of the circles with 25 seconds left.
No, that was horrible, horrible football. Football, sorry. I have red zone on the side. Hockey. Anyway, no, that was that. I think he knows that. I think Jake Muzzin understands that. That just can't happen. And I know it's game 1, and trust me, I've taken that into consideration too throughout my anger, but it doesn't matter. You're a professional hockey player. You cannot make that play. You need to be better than that. It's
at that level, that's
exactly. You just can't. You can't be throwing pucks up the middle like that. Like you said, at any point in the game, but with 25 seconds left after you just tied it.
Yeah.
You just no. So that was that game. Cole Caulfield scored 2 goals, and I knew that was going to pump up your tires. So I'll give you a couple seconds on that, even though one of them was a blatant fan that Murray did not stop. But anyway.
So I think you're thinking the first one, because the second one was the straight up snipe.
No, the second one is the one that Murray should have got with his glove. The first one was the one that was up over the shoulder, for sure. I know exactly what I'm talking about. The second one was not a snipe. That was a shot middle of the net on the short side. That was not a snipe. That was bad goaltending.
Call it a bit of each, but still.
That was not a snipe. That was a horrible shot. Anyway, continue.
It was good to see him get the season off with a good start with those 2 goals. It took him 31 games last year to get 2. Took him, period and a half to get 2, so that's a good start. And then the third goal, Sean Monahan getting his first with the Habs. Just quickly on him, he's been low-key impressive these 3 games. Wasn't sure what his injury situation was going to be. Had hip surgery that kept him out for pretty much all of last year. Calgary paid us a first to take him on. And he's been actually kind of good, which is a surprise. Didn't expect much from him.
Well, he was one of the horses that Calgary really hitched their ride on a couple of years ago, man. Like, so I know he's had injuries, and I know that it's not always easy to come back from those injuries, especially the ones that he's gone through, which, like you said, but you said it was hip surgery.
It was a hip surgery, and I think there was a back surgery in there the season before. So, like, definitely not
easy
not
stuff
easy
to come back from. So it's good to see him back in the league, and for him to have any sort of impact for Montreal, I think we can agree is a bonus for them.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
And again, especially considering Calgary paid us a first to take him on too.
Yeah, like, that's huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was disappointed by the first game, but coming back with the second game, we beat Washington, who was without, obviously, Nick Backstrom, who I think, if I'm not mistaken, is out relatively long-term here to start the year. And Tom Wilson wasn't playing, and holy crap was that noticeable that he was not on the ice. Like, they are a totally, totally different team when he is playing. He brings an element to that team that they just don't have without him. And it was really, really noticeable that he was not a part of that game. We actually controlled a lot of the physical narrative of that game, which is something
that doesn't happen.
And I'll talk about this more throughout the episode, but I think that's something that we've lacked, right? And I think that's what people talk about when they say you're hard to play against. And it's not finishing every single it's just putting your body in the way. It's finishing checks when you have an opportunity to. It's laying a guy out when you have an opportunity to. It's not shying away from things like that. It's not putting yourself out of position to make these plays or making these plays.
Yeah, no, you're not running around, but...
No, but when you have guys buying into that, and again, I'll talk about this a little bit later in the episode, but when you have guys buying into that, it really, really trickles down the rest of the lineup. And people start to feel it, and people start to also play like that, which is great. Especially when you have new guys coming in and making great impacts like Obey-Kubel and Yarncroke. Both have made fantastic impacts, especially from a defensive physical perspective. Yeah. And I think I'm really going to like those two guys moving forward. Anyway, sticking on that game, it was really, really, like, not funny, but, like, Alex Ovechkin knows what's going to work for him moving forward. And it is exactly what's worked for him up until this point, but, like, even more limited to that now. And that, as we all know, is the one-timer on the power play in the top of the, what would it be? Yeah. If you're the goaltender, your right-hand side, that circle, his off wing. There's not a whole lot else from coming out of their offense other than that play. And it's noticeable.
But here's the thing. That play is still going to work for probably like half his goals for the year.
He rung one off the bar, and it's going to have to be more than half because he's not that mobile anymore. That's something that was very, very noticeable. Ovechkin, he's still going to rip home probably 35, 40, maybe even 45 goals, but they're all going to have to be from right there. Because he's not getting around the ice like he used to. He's not dashing to the net. He's not shooting from anywhere. Like, that is what he is going to do for probably the next 5 years, is just stand there. That's what he's going to do. And that's what I took from that game. That and the fact that they are a completely different, nowhere near as good team without Tom Wilson.
They're an entirely different team without him. Well, because I don't think he played against the Habs last night either. I don't remember him being in the lineup. I don't remember hearing his name at all. So they were, And I just want to go with Ovechkin's goal scoring in just a second here. He needs 115 goals in 213 games to pass Gretzky with a better goals per game average. That's just fucking ridiculous. Because I think he'll do it. 115 goals in 213 games.
No.
That's.
I don't think he does that. Based on the reasons that I just said to you, is because he can't score in ways that he used to score. He used to score goals in a lot of different ways. He can't do that anymore.
Okay, but here's the
that's a point. Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish here. The other thing too is, I know it's been 20 years and he's been doing the same thing for 20 years. Want to know who learned how to defend it? Justin Holl learned how to defend it. and he had one shot on net from that circle against the Toronto Maple Leafs on the power play, and it rang off it actually wasn't a shot on net, it rang off the crossbar. So, and every other one, number 3 had his leg in front of. So, now that he isn't able to do other things, people are going to be able to defend that more tight. And because they're able to defend it more tight, it's going to be less effective. Right? These are professional athletes we're talking about right now.
I think it will. Obviously, like, he's not going to score at the pace that he's been scoring at. That's just what happens when you get old.
Yeah, but that is the pace. That is the pace that you just said he would have to score at, right?
So that would be a .53 for him to break the record and do it in better goals per game. Last year he scored at a .65 goals per game.
Yeah, but last year, and I think we've agreed to this. We can't use last year as a base year because it was so everybody got 100 points. Everybody scored 40 goals. Everybody we're not using last year as a base year. I think that's kind of skews thoughts, if that makes sense. Because like I said, everybody had 100 points last year, so we can't do that. Anyway, moving on to the next game in Toronto was last night against the Ottawa Senators, and God, did I want to win that game, especially after losing to Montreal on opening night. So first game against a rival at home, against the Ottawa Senators at home. Ilya Samsonov. Oh, well, let's actually start in the morning yesterday. Yeah. Ilya Samsonov is kind of thrown into the fire because Matt Murray pulls his groin or something. Some lower body injury. It was a groin discomfort at first, and then they used some word that I'd never heard before to describe the actual injury, so I'm not going to repeat it because I don't know what the hell it means. But LTIR, which means a minimum of 10 games, which would put him on the IR until, at the earliest, November the 8th. Of course. It doesn't get any more predictable than Matt Murray being injured, right? It just doesn't. That's perfect, of course. Why wouldn't that happen?
That was one of the big risks you guys were taking with this, was hoping that he would stay healthy.
Well, the one good thing about it, though, is now that he is on LTIR, we get to use 75% of his, I think it's $5.25 million cap hit. Is that what he was signed for? Or was it 6?
I think it's 5 something.
Anyway, we get to use that for LTIR. So this morning we called up guys like Robertson, Simmons, and Victor Mete. And also that's going to give us an opportunity when Timmy Liljegren's healthy to add him to the roster.
Yeah, that'll be actually more so than the other 3. That'll be huge.
Yeah, exactly. And Robertson had a great camp, so I'd like to see what he has to offer as well.
Yeah.
So that is where we stood last night before the game started. So we knew Samsonov was getting the start. I'm going to be honest with you, he played great. He really did. It was a sight for sore eyes, let me tell you, after hearing of that. Oh, let me also add that Källgren, I don't know if you guys remember Eric Källgren from last year. I actually got to see him play. It was pretty cool when I went to my game. But anyway, he got run over while playing for the Marlies the night before and was injured. And that's one of the only other goalies that we have signed to an NHL contract. So
I think the only other one is Michael Hutchinson, is it not?
He's not under contract, no.
Oh.
He's not a Leaf.
Who the fuck's
You just saw that on Twitter because he's inevitable.
No, I mean, I saw it. Well, our buddy Trev shared it in our group, but I just assumed that he was still your AHL backup and would have been next in line. No.
That was a joke because he's always just kind of showed up out of nowhere when we had goaltending issues.
Exactly, and you're currently having goaltending issues, so I kind of expected him to show up out of nowhere.
Well, I think now's the time for me to go into a little bit of a hopeful proclamation that I think Ilya Samsonov can really be elite. I really believe that he can be elite. I think he had a bad year last year. I really do. Sub 900 save percentage, not good. Seemed a little bit disinterested in Washington, to be honest with you. Seems way less disinterested in being a Toronto Maple Leaf, just based on the posters that he's had, the post-game interviews.
Yeah.
They've been great. He seems like he's really enjoying himself in that locker room. And be honest with you, he's played 2 games and he's played great both games. Better than Murray played against the Habs. So that coupled with the fact that all throughout the their two development, him and Shesterkin grew up together through the Russian national program, and he was always the better goaltender. Samsonov was always the better goaltender. He started for the World Junior team. He started for the Ivan Holinka team. He started at all levels over Shesterkin, who's the exact same age. They came into the draft together.
Yeah.
Samsonov was drafted ahead of him. So do I think the potential's there? Yes. Did he have a bad year last year? Absolutely, he had a bad year last year. Is Washington's defense any good? No. They have John Carlson, and he's a great offensive player, but they don't really have many shutdown guys on that back end. Like, they're not... The Washington Capitals have Alex Ovechkin, so they'll be dangerous, like they always are, like they always have been. Yeah. Right? But remember, he doesn't have Backstrom right now. That's a big deal.
Oh, it's a huge loss. Not just for him, but for the team.
Exactly. And Backstrom is also a fantastic two-way player as well.
Yeah.
And they've lost that. They don't have really much of a defensive identity right now in Washington. And it's kind of noticeable. So do I think that Samsonov is playing behind a better defensive team now? Yes, I do. Do I think that he's going to win the Vezina this year? No, I don't. I think that he has a chance to be elite, and I believe that he is going to be the starter. By the time Murray comes back, he's not getting the net. Let's put it that way. I think by the time Murray comes back, I don't think that Samsonov's going to play at a level that it's going to be even a question, are we taking him out? We're not taking him out. That's what I feel. I don't know that. I'm not basing that off of anything but a gut feeling, but that's how I feel. And that's what I think is going to happen. And that's what I hope to hell happens. Because if that doesn't happen, we're kind of fucked, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
For goaltending anyway. Anyway, so that's where I'm at with that.
Can we keep it on goalies for 2 seconds and talk about a goalie who's now playing behind a worse defense and it's showing?
Oh, Jack Campbell?
Jack Campbell.
Yeah.
Like, that is... It's what, three games into his Edmonton career? It's ugly.
It's not looking
ugly.
Good. He got... What did he have? 4 on 11 shots last night. Gets yanked in favor of Stuart Skinner, who didn't allow a goal after.
Yeah, I think he's been pulled twice already. In like 3 games. Like, he's got some of the worst stats in the league, I'm going to assume. Have to be.
Jack Campbell last night had a .636 save percentage. I'm seeing that right now on Twitter.
Yeah, that is not good.
That's bad. So yeah,
okay, so in two games played this year, he's got an .851 save percentage and a .598 goals against average.
Ouch!
And I know it's 2 games, it's a super small sample size, and he did actually get a win in one of those games. But
that's not good. It's hard to win when you're down 4-1 by the end of the first period.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And one of them was a gross goal by Kadri. Gotta give it
absolutely.
To him.
Like,
filthy.
you know.
Absolutely filthy. But it's... I don't know. He's not worth $5 million, and I think a lot of Leaf fans are seeing that right now, and they're really feeling good about the decision that Kyle Dubas made to not give that guy a long-term contract.
Yeah.
And
I think
you know what?
The big thing was he was playing behind. I roast the Leafs defense. Like, they're at least like a competent, like, B-level NHL defense. You know what I mean? Like, they're not like the fucking Tampa, Colorado fucking back ends, but like you have like solid players there. And I look at Edmonton, and basically everyone from that D core, except for Darnell Nurse, is dog shit.
They aren't very good. No.
Like, just not good.
Well, let's round it out right now. Let's actually put some facts behind this, because I'll name a couple that I can think of off the top of my head. So it's obviously Nurse, Evan Bouchard, Nurse, Bouchard. Who's that other guy? I can't even think of him right now.
I don't know if Brett Kulak still plays for them.
Kulak, Tyson Berry. That's who I was thinking of when I was watching their opening night ceremonies, and they introduce all the players and they do the thing. By the way, Montreal's was way too much. I just wanted to point that out. If I wanted to hear the name of every concession stand employee in the building, I would go read the directory. I wouldn't listen to the fucking opening remarks. That was outrageous. And the Flame, that's the corniest thing I've ever seen. Lighting it up at center ice, that's the corniest thing I've ever seen. That is outrageous and unnecessary and outdated and ridiculous.
Bro, we've been doing the Flame forever, so you're not gonna fucking chirp that. And honestly, we've put
it's corny.
It's great.
It's corny.
It's the passion. It's the passion, Ave.
No, that's trademarked in blue and white.
All right, so the Oilers' D pairings: Nurse and Ceci, Kulak and Barry, Ryan Murray and Evan Bouchard.
Ryan Murray and Evan Bouchard might be one of the worst defensive pairings in the league. First of all, second, so give me the second pairing there.
The second pairing is Kulak and Barry, and I love Brett Kulak. He's a great player. He's not a second pairing guy. He's not.
Tyson Berry playing second pairing minutes and defending your team for, what is that, 22, 23 minutes a night is not what you want.
No.
It's not at all what you want.
And you know what else you super don't want? Cody Ceci on your first D pairing.
Cody Ceci with Darnell Nurse.
Like, that's
awful. That is truly awful.
That's Darnell Nurse and 5 seventh defensemen.
Yeah, and Darnell Nurse is overpaid too.
I know, but he's at least a good player, right? Like, you can argue about how much he's getting paid and whether he's worth that, but he is at least a good player.
Yes, and he's intimidating to play against, which means something too. Want to know who's not intimidating to play against? Cody Ceci, Tyson Berry, Evan Bouchard, Brett Kulak,
and Ryan Murray.
And Ryan Murray.
Like,
none of those guys are intimidating to play against at all.
Like, I know I exaggerate a lot, but I'm not kidding when I say if I put me, you, and like one of our buddies on a line, and we had to attack a defense pairing of Ryan Murray and Evan Bouchard, I like our chances of scoring a goal.
Okay, no. They're super professional hockey players.
They're fucking awful, though. Like,
they're one of the best. Let's put it this way.
I know.
There is no way in hell that if we pulled that little situation, we are scoring a goal on any of the best 1,000 players in the world. And I promise you those guys are all one of the best 1,000 players in the world. We're not doing that. I know you like to pull shit out of your ass, but that's one I'm not going to let slide. To be completely honest with you.
Fair, but you know what I mean. Like, that, they are not fucking good.
Alex Emond, I hope you're listening to this. That's like Emond saying he could win the Masters if he had to play every hole from 100 yards out. That's what that's like. Because that's not possible.
But yeah, like, I don't think there are many goalies in the league you could put behind that defense and they're going to look good.
Yeah. No,
Jack Campbell is getting exposed.
Jack Campbell is getting heavily exposed. And I think Leaf fans, as much as we loved him last year, are all here for it. Because if he would have went there and he would have played well, we would have hated our lives, especially the situation that we're in with Murray right now. And I know it's only a couple games in, and the situation could change with Samsonov. Like I said, I hope it will. Right? I think it will. So let's see where it takes us. Just sticking with Edmonton for a second.
Yeah.
Connor McDavid that was his 8th opening night. And I got to get the stat correct here.
Okay, well, I'll hit you with a hockey stat while you're doing that. McDavid hasn't scored 50 goals in the season. Ever.
No, he hasn't. You're right.
That fucking blew my mind.
Yeah, no, I actually knew that, and kind of crazy. But
like, he's putting up like 120 point seasons, and they're like fucking like 80, 90 assist seasons. That's fucking ridiculous.
Okay, so here I am quoting the Sporting News here, just so we cite our sources. So that's the 11th hat trick of McDavid's career, and the second time in his career that he has scored a hat trick on opening night through 8 seasons. So 25% of the time, this guy is scoring hat tricks on opening night. And I believe I saw somewhere that is the 6th out of his 8th opening night that he has scored a goal too. So he is 75% of the time at least getting a goal. 25% of the time, that's a hat trick. That is outrageous.
Like, that's outrageous. But the other thing with him is like, it feels like there are. Well, I know there probably are statistically just way like he's just scoring every game. Like there's gonna be significantly less games that he's even just scoring.
Let's hold on a second here. Let's continue with the ridiculousness. We have a guy who, like I said, is entering his 8th season. This is his 8th season in the NHL. Okay.
Okay.
In that time, there was a lockout. There was COVID shortened seasons, 2 of them. And he already has 700 career points. 700. It feels like he entered the league a couple of years ago still. And this guy has 700 points. He's just...
Was he also not like super hurt in his rookie year and missed a whole bunch of games too?
It wasn't a lockout. It wasn't a lockout. I misspoke. It wasn't a lockout. He missed a whole season due to injury.
Yeah.
Because he went into the boards and busted his knee.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to give you a guess. How many games do you think it took Connor McDavid to score 700 career points?
Okay. So you said this is his 8th year, so that's 7 seasons. I'm using a calculator just so I don't look like a total fucking moron with my math here.
Okay, so lost a full season and played 2 COVID-shortened seasons. Those are the 2 things you have to factor in.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with 582s for sure.
Okay.
I think that's about fair. The two half seasons together is 1 season. I don't want to look totally stupid, but I'm going to say like 475 games.
You are very, very close. You were only 13 games off. 488 games. It took him to score 700 points.
Fuck
That makes me want to throw up in my mouth a little bit.
Like that's... And he's going to retire with nothing in terms of cups if he doesn't leave Edmonton.
Want to hear another fucking crazy stat?
Always.
NHL goals per game all time. Remember, in the era that these guys are doing this. Okay?
Yep.
Hold on. Goals per 60.
Is this era adjusted or just overall?
Nope. This is overall goals per 60 minutes. And this is actually not the stat that I was going to give you. I was going to give you goals per game. But we're going to go goals per 60 minutes on the ice. Austin Matthews, number 1 all time at 1.954. Second is Alex Ovechkin with 1.757. He is almost 0.2 goals per 60 minutes above Ovechkin.
That is fucking ridiculous.
That's insane. I can't believe that.
It would take an insane pace to stay there. But like it would not surprise me 100 like at all, not even a little bit, if he kept that pace up and like stayed there.
Guess who number 3 is on that list? Goals per 60.
Goals per 60 at number 3.
I wouldn't have guessed this, but
see, so now like I feel like it's not one of like the big guys. It's gonna be like,
it's not an older guy. It's a guy still playing in the league.
Still play. Sid. Yeah. It's got to be Sid.
Steven Stamkos at 1.634.
No, I believe that.
That's impressive. Anyway, so we went off on a little bit of a tangent there, just because we were talking about like the greatness of these guys that we were watching right now. Like McDavid's breaking records like crazy. Yeah. We talked about Ovechkin, how he's probably going to catch Gretzky and then officially become the greatest goal scorer of all time. Yeah. Right now, we're watching probably the next greatest goal scorer of all time. Maybe somebody who could someday surpass Ovechkin in Matthews. right now we're watching him in his prime. We get so much.
But here,
You get to watch so much.
I don't even think Matthews is in his prime yet. How old is he?
He's
20...
a year older than me, so he's 25.
Like, I still
he's
think
probably got 5 years of prime left. I would say 5 years of like elite hockey left.
I still think there's another level for him to hit, though. You know what I mean?
What do you think he can max out at in an 82-game season? Like, what do you think when his career is over? What's going to be the most goals he ever scored in an 82-game season?
Here's the thing. I
think he can hit.
I fully believe that when he hits like 27, 28, there's a good chance that there's another jump. Like that he just finds that last level that I'm going to be the fucking player in this league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if he's doing 62 now, 70.
70. I think
I believe
easily hit 70.
I fully believe it.
Yeah. Because you know what? Last year he had 60. What did he have last year? 62? Is that what it was?
It was like 62 and 70 something.
And even games that he was playing, like he did not start very hot last year. Like he was behind to begin the Rocket Richard race.
Yeah.
If he even scores at his average pace for those games, he's at 66, 67 goals, right? Like, I don't know. So yes, last year he had 60 and 73. Exactly. 60 and 73. So honest to God though, let's say first of all he plays those 9 games to make up the 82-game season. And like I said, there were stretches last year where he just simply was not scoring. Like 4 or 5 game stretches. Let's say in those 4 or 5 game stretches he scores another 5 goals. Let's say there were 3 of them, and over those stretches he scores another 5 goals. That's 65. And like you said, he was only 24 last year. That's not prime.
No.
Like he's got another 3-4 years before he even gets there. You're right. 70 is definitely not out of the question.
No,
he missed 9 games and scored 60 last year. That's insane.
Like if somebody a fucking time traveler showed up in my room right now and said in like the 26-27 season Matthews scores 70, I'd be like, yeah, like there's nothing about that that's outrageous to me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Also, enough of the talk about him signing. We can't even sign a contract until I know we've already talked.
He's not even legally allowed to negotiate it yet.
It's not even legal. Exactly. So if we could. Oh, and by the way, just to give you an idea, he's already got a goal and an assist for 2 points through 3 games. His career average shooting percentage is 16.3, which, by the way, is insane.
Yeah.
And he is currently this year shooting 5.9.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's not going to last.
That's not going to last. Let's say he has a down year. Yeah, let's say he has the worst year of his career since he came into the league.
That's still probably good for like 40 goals, right?
The worst year, shooting percentage-wise, since he came into the league was his rookie year when he had a 14.34 shooting percentage and scored 40.
Yeah.
So,
like, I think basically like most players in the league would happily take 40-goal seasons.
Yeah, over from 2020 until 2022, Austin Matthews played 125 games and scored 101 goals.
That's a little ridiculous.
That's a lot. That was the 2020-2021 COVID shortened season at 52 games, and last year's 73. That's insane to me. And he shot in the COVID shortened season, he shot 18.5. He shot nearly 20%. 1 out of every 5 shots that he was putting on net were going in, and he had 222 shots in 52 games. That's over 4 shots a game. That's it.
Oh, okay. Just super quick on like shots and like shots per game. Did you see Bedard's stats through like 10 games so far?
Yeah, he's got 9 goals, 17 points.
And like 170 shots on net.
Yeah, and I don't know if you watched that because I think I know the tweet you're talking about. I don't know if you saw the highlight clip that came with that tweet. Through 10
I think
games,
I did, yes. Yeah.
Like through 10 games, he's got a season's worth of clips of just undressing people, ripping bar down. There was one of him absolutely like he went to go want to do one of the craziest dekes I've ever seen. It was like one-handed like through the legs, and he kind of messed up. So instead of doing the deke, he just leveled the guy, like absolutely dropped the guy that he was a one-on-one with. Like it, yeah. And
he's gonna be fun. He is gonna be fun.
Yeah, let's count the teams in the Tank Fest here. So we got the Arizona Coyotes, clearly. We got the Chicago Blackhawks, clearly. Philadelphia Flyers suck. Montreal Canadiens.
Like here's the thing.
Real life Tank Fest.
How many times we play you guys this year? Probably like 5 or 6.
I think it's interdivision, isn't it?
Or 4 or 5.
Is that right?
Okay. Here's the thing. If the only games the Habs win this year are against the Leafs, and we get our like 5 or 6 wins for the year, I will be the happiest person in the world, Dave. As like that, I would 100% take that right now. If you said sim to the end of the season, Habs win only the games against the Leafs, bottom of the league, get Bedard, dub.
Yeah, that would be a successful season for you guys.
100%.
Yeah. So, yeah. So did I complete my Tank Fest list there? Columbus isn't in the Tank Fest anymore.
I'm pretty sure that like. Unless
like they're not
unless someone fucking like really shits the bed. Like I think you nailed it.
San Jose maybe getting in on it.
Yeah, I think they're like just slightly too good for that. We're not talking about a high bar here. Like we're talking about the Habs, Arizona, Chicago.
Yeah, we're talking about the worst teams in the league. Teams that are intentionally getting worse or have intentionally gotten worse with the intention of securing a lottery pick this year is what we are talking about. Not teams that have tried to be good and are still bad, such as the Columbus Blue Jackets. But yeah. Open tankers, we'll call them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that clip was outrageous. I'm scared for that kid coming into the league. I would say, just by the looks of things, he's probably the most talented prospect since Matthews, I would think.
He's trying to go through the number 1 picks off the top of my head, and I'm like, yeah, it's probably.
Like, I think we can agree, like, Matthews was the best since McDavid, which was only the year before. And since then, I think we can agree that Bedard's probably the guy. Since then, because, we got Nolan Ryan and Nico Hischier, or Nolan Patrick.
Dahlin. Owen Power, Slav. I feel like we're missing one, but it's not a.
Yeah.
Lafreniere. Was.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think he's head and shoulders. He's like head, shoulders, torso, probably like ankles above, like he is fucking.
Like we could talk about Makar, but he wasn't really that high. He went 4th overall. He wasn't that.
No, I'm talking about number 1 overall picks, like just the 108s,
exactly.
like that's
exactly. So, yeah, there's going to be a Tank Fest this year, clearly. Yeah. Like just like there was for McKeezy. Like that's just how these things work, right? When you have an opportunity, when you're already bad, and then you see an opportunity. Let's not. I think it was Craig Button, and I don't agree with Craig Button very often, but I did agree with him when he said Bedard seems to me like he's going to be a franchise player, not a generational player. So think Patrick Kane, not Connor McDavid.
Yeah, but I think if you offer any team in the league a Patrick Kane, they're fucking snapping your hand off for it.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like when we're talking generational talents, we're talking guys like Makar, Matthews, McDavid, maybe even throw McKinnon in there. When we're talking franchise cornerstone players, we're talking like prime Claude Giroux in Philly. Yeah. We're talking Patrick Kane. We're talking Stamkos. We'll put Sid in the other category. In the
Sid and Ovi are fucking
generational. Ovi's generational. Stamkos, I just said Stamkos. Like Kucherov is probably in that ballpark too. He's a franchise player, not a generational player.
I 100% get that. Yeah.
So Yeah, that's where
But
we
I mean, like
stand.
the thing is, like there's not a lot of those franchise players in the league right now.
No, there isn't. There's a
So,
lot of guys that are just a tier below that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, no, yeah,
just
yeah. That's
below
like
that. Like
there's like
guys like Mitch Marner, Jack Hughes. I can't even think right now. Brady Kachuk's probably in there. Matty Kachuk's probably in there.
yeah,
Huberdeau.
like there's like the elite of the elite, and then there's like the really fucking good players, and there's like very few of those left. And then there's a big group of like the next
really
group
good
of
players.
elites.
Really good
Yeah.
players. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys like I just said, the Matty
Yeah.
Kachucks of the world, the Johnny Huberdeaus of the world, maybe even a Nazem Kadri. You know?
Barkov, yeah.
Oh, sorry, might have left out a guy when I was talking about elite players. Draisaitl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's in the generational category. Just to be clear to everybody listening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, yeah. That's not up for debate.
The guy scores 100 points with his eyes closed. So
yeah, and fucking I mean, like and on one leg.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
so, and for that's how generationally bad Edmonton's D is they have two generationally good forwards, and they still are awful because of how bad their defense is.
Incredible. Like I just like I just don't know how the front office doesn't see that. Like, are they that blinded by like we get some playoff wins?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like, you go into the they made it to the Western Conference Final, right? So
yeah, but even like the couple seasons before, they get like one round win. You know what I mean? Like they just get their 4 wins. They're out in the second round. Like
yeah, but that's false confidence, right?
Yeah, but like you look at that, and you go, okay, like the offense isn't the issue, the defense is. You know, like we're not losing games because we're not scoring. We're losing games because we're losing fucking like 7-6, 8-7. Like,
yeah, for sure. Anyway, enough about generational talents here. You had a couple of fill in the blanks, so let's
yeah, we got the first ones of the year. So after announcing his retirement over the summer, PK Subban has a blank % chance of being an NHL Hall of Famer, or Hockey Hall of Famer, I should say.
I would probably say that he has. I would say 50-50.
Yeah.
So he was one of the better defensemen of our generation, right?
Yeah, I would say for a period of time, he was probably one of the 3 best defensemen in the league.
Yeah, for about a 3, 4, maybe 5-year period.
Yeah.
The thing with PK, though, is the fall off was quick, and the fall off was big. Like, he went from being an elite defenseman to being a liability in like a 2-3 year period.
Yeah.
Like, kind of crazy, especially us knowing and we know exactly how contracts work, and the fact that you're signing guys to these long-term deals at these high cap hits, and with the flat cap and everything, man, you can't have that. You can't have guys that fall off cliffs like that. Like, you can have them gradually get worse and maybe not be worth it completely at the end of their contract, but they have to be worth at least something when you're paying them the kind of money that PK was getting. And I think that's kind of what happened to PK. Is he wanted to go to one, and we talked about this on the show, I believe. He wanted to go to one of 2 places. He wanted to go back to Montreal, or he wanted a chance to win the cup at home in Toronto, right? And when it became clear that neither of those options were available to him, that was it. He was going to call it quits. He didn't want to be a liability out there, and he realizes that he is.
Well, I think the other thing is if, he's at that point where it's like, hey, I want to play in Montreal or Toronto. I don't want to fucking play in Minnesota. I don't want to go play in Philadelphia. I don't want to go play in wherever, right? I want to be at home or in Montreal where I was drafted and came up. I respect the decision to be like, yeah, fuck it. I'm just going to retire then.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
And the other thing that I will say, and the arguments that I would make for him to be in the Hall of Fame, are his contributions, first of all, to the national program.
Yep. I was just about to bring up his
World Junior Gold. He has an Olympic gold, although he did not play in that tournament.
He played one game.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I mean, like I'm I'm not gonna sit here and say that being the 7th best player on an Olympic team is a slight on him.
Okay, no, but who are the 6 guys in front of him?
So it's
Are
what?
they going to the Hall of Fame? All 6 of them? No.
So that 2014 team would have been what?
Probably would have still been. I think Boyle was on that team still, wasn't he?
It would have been Keith and Seabrook probably still.
Ethan Seabrook, Doughty was definitely there. Weber was definitely
Weber was there.
Petro yet?
Maybe a Petro. Give me a sec. I'm pulling up that roster. Now you've really got my fucking brain thinking.
Yeah. Point being, you're not going to put every single one of those guys in the Hall of Fame. You're just not.
Well, I mean, like Keith, Hamhuis, Weber, Doughty, Bouwmeester, Petro, Vlasic, Subban.
Okay, so go over those again.
So Keith,
not
Weber,
going to the Hall of Fame because he's a scumbag. Weber,
Shea Weber, Hall of Famer.
Probably going to the Hall of Fame. Although he never won a Stanley Cup, so that might work against him too.
Yeah, but here's the thing: you can't just keep guys out of the. It's not the NHL Hall of Fame; it's the Hockey Hall of Fame. He's got his Olympic golds. He's got World Junior gold. If you offered me Olympic gold or Stanley Cup, I'm taking Olympic gold every time.
I'm taking a Stanley Cup every time.
I'm taking
the hockey community.
Anyways. I'm taking Olympic gold. Anyways, we could do that debate another day. Sorry. So Keith, Weber, Doughty.
Doughty's going to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, Doughty's a Hall of Famer for sure. Jay Bouwmeester.
Not going to the Hall of Fame.
Petro.
Not sure if he's going to the Hall of Fame. Not yet.
He's still got time to get there, I think.
That's why I said not yet.
Hamhuis and Vlasic.
Definitely not. Neither of those guys are going to the Hall of Fame.
And PK Subban.
So, just winning an Olympic gold doesn't put you in the Hall of Fame.
No,
I think
you go Olympic gold, couple of World Junior golds. He also has a Norris, by the way.
1 Norris.
Shea Weber has 0, Ave.
Does every guy who wins a Norris get a free pass into the Hall of Fame now?
No, but I'm saying
things, right? So when you
look, that's what I'm saying. It's the whole picture. It's World Junior golds, Olympic golds, Norris. Like, I don't think he's a first ballot. Like, so another guy who.
Let's look at his stuff from a perspective and like from a broader perspective. And I want you to think about guys who actually are in the Hall and the awards that they won, because this simply does not stack up, and it doesn't even come close. 2 World Junior gold medals, being a 7th defenseman on an Olympic team that won a gold medal, no Stanley Cup, 1 Norris. It doesn't stack up. That's not a Hall of Fame career. It just isn't. It just isn't. But
I
will say that works for PK Subban is that he has a hell of a personality, and he's been one of the bigger personalities in the league for a long time, and I would think that should mean something. That's one thing he has going for him. His career and his credentials are not it. Anyway.
I think
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just needed to get that point across.
No. That's fair. It's fair. What I would say is I don't think he's like so Zdeno Chara, the first year that he's eligible to be in the Hall of Fame, he's going in first ballot, right? Like, that's unquestionable.
He was a leader for how long, right? Like, that's another thing. PK Subban was not a captain on any team that he ever played for.
I don't think PK is going to be like, the moment he's eligible, he's getting in. But I think he'll get in there at some point.
They only have a limited amount of time. Don't they only have?
I don't think so.
I think so. Like, after you get left off the ballot for a certain amount of years, I do not think you can get in anymore.
Are you sure? I don't know. I know Hall of Fames are weird about their rules and things like that. But
I know that's how the baseball one works, but I thought that's how the hockey one worked as well.
See, I am not sure.
Anyway, so that was the first fill in the blank. So I think he probably doesn't get in, but I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Yeah.
That would be what I would say, and I would think the reason that he would be getting in is because he's so well liked. He's He's got such a bubbly personality. He'll probably do some media now that he's done too, which you can.
Oh, well, you know what?
Adds to that kind of career.
The other thing that he has going for him, and this might sound bad, but I don't mean it in a bad way. He has a chance, and he always has been, like a spokesperson for diversity in hockey. And I think if he can get, some sort of, involvement in whether it's the, Dumba's, pardon?
The HDA.
Yeah, like if he gets involved in that as, as a leader and kind of continues to contribute to that aspect of the game, that will also help him get into the Hall of Fame.
And that kind of goes with the personality that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy that he is, right?
Yeah.
He's a great...
And that's the thing. So he won't do all of that thinking it'll get him into the Hall of Fame. He'll do it because it's the right thing to do, and that's who he is. It will just also help him get into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, for sure. Second fill in the blank.
Second fill in the blank. So, you've seen the picture of Ryan Reeves from the fight last night, right?
Yeah.
I'll edit it into the video for fun. But after seeing that picture, I'd rather fight blank than Ryan Reeves.
A UFC lightweight or lighter?
What's lightweight? 155? 145.
I think middleweight's 155, isn't it? I don't know.
I don't know all the
I forget exactly what they are right now, but anyway. Yeah. Like, let's say let's go $155. I'd rather fight a guy that's $155 in the UFC or lighter.
So here's the thing. McGregor and Khabib fought at 155. So that's where
they were featherweights. If I'm not mistaken, Khabib fought at featherweight.
That's 155, because I remember being like, I weigh 155 pounds and I don't look anything like those two. And there's no way that they are 155 pounds, but apparently they were.
Featherweight in the now we're just on a Google tangent today. UFC featherweight is 136 to 145. So UFC.
So middleweight.
Middleweight, I think is UFC divisions. Here we go. Just a second. Lightweight is 155. Yeah. Lightweight is 145 to 155. Featherweight is 135 to 145. So yeah, I would fight a lightweight or lighter instead of Ryan Reeves. But I think anybody at welterweight plus beats the shit out of me worse than he can.
Yeah. I can't argue with that. I'd rather fight a polar bear than Ryan Reeves.
Yeah,
it'll be over for me a lot quicker with a polar bear.
Yeah, I'd rather fight most things rather than Ryan Reeves, to be completely honest with you. So
like that is a scary looking human being.
Yeah, he's an elite intimidator for sure. For sure.
All right, and just before we go for this week, we got updates from the first week of the Bitter Rivals Fantasy League.
Oh yes, I almost forgot. So
the week technically hasn't ended because it ends on Sunday nights, but there's no games to be played today in the NHL, so the results are basically official. Yeah. I've taken an L to our boy Willie Wilson in the first week.
You've taken
what about you?
I have taken an L to friend of the show on Team North Korea, which is Trev. Truman Missile Crisis has fallen this week.
Oh yeah. So Patty Kane's Cab Company. Patty Kane's Cab Company and Leafs and Bounds. That's a close matchup.
That was a close matchup.
That's squeaky bum time there.
Decided by.
Yeah. Not even 4.9.
4.9. Hold up. Show league matchups. Here we go. Okay, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that was a close one. No Regretskis, which is my beautiful girlfriend Michaela. Absolutely beat the shit out of Jaeger Bombs, which is Tater. So, Rip Tater, you lost by 54 points this week. I only lost by 30, so I guess I beat you, kind of, in a way.
I lost by about 40, fuck.
The old expletives.
No, we swear, we say the old fucks. I'll allow the old fucks.
Whose team is that again?
That's fucking Lucas. Lucas. No, Heim.
Hyam, that's right.
Heim would absolutely run away with the league if this was about 5 years ago, but it's not.
Yeah,
And
but I'm pretty sure he auto drafted, so
yeah,
that's tough.
it's the auto draft battle actually between him and the boss Mike Flams.
Yeah,
But Flams
so
takes the dub in week
scores.
one.
After week one, we have North Korea pulling out a dub. We got Williams tip top team. Damn, he needs to change that team name.
Yep.
With dub. We got Patty Kane's Cab Company really squeaking one out against Leaps and Bounds. And then we have No Regretskis with the dub and Flams with the dub. So that is where we stand after week one. We're very excited about this. We do have a little bit of a prize pack put together for the winner of this league, which obviously that's not for a while until the end of the season, but we're very, very excited about it. We're having a great time. I hope everybody else is that's playing. If you're listening, thank you. And if you play in the league, thank you. And is there anything else you wanted to get off your chest before we shut down this week's episode, my friend?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, fantastic. As always, we will pay close attention to the game this week, and we will update you on things that are going on next week. Hopefully, there's a little bit more stability in the Leafs goaltending realm by next week. Thank you to the Game Entertainment and Media for hosting us on their platform. So as always, tip our cap to them, and we will see you
Don't
next
forget
week.
to subscribe to them too.
Subscribe to them as well, yes, of course. We will see you for episode 68 next week. And we got a little something cooking for the following week, as you could imagine. So we will catch you on the flip and talk to you next week. Go Leafs, go.